Welcome to the Lost Birds Knitting Podcast. I am Allison, also known as Lost Birds on Ravelry, Pinterest, Twitter. On Instagram, I am Lost Birds Fiber. And that's all I'm going to say right now because I can't remember.
And Lost Birds Fiber is where the show notes is for your blog.
Correct. It's lostbirdsfiber.com. You can go to the blog to find the show notes, and you can also play the video from there, as well as find a few other cool things. So, Who are you?
I'm Danielle. At least that's who I think I am. I am also known as Bright D on Ravelry and Lady D Bright on Instagram. Those are the only two places that I am really on, and care about, I suppose.
Yeah.
Where you could actually find me. So, what are you working on? Or our flight plan?
Yes, this is our flight plan for the week, which is all of our projects. I had kind of a pitiful week, I'm not gonna lie. I did get last week I showed you these socks, and I had just I got to about right here, just the toe and the blue stripe. So I have knit up the foot, and I'm already starting the heel. I have kind of small feet, so this is, I know they look short, but anyway, this is the heel. And yeah, I didn't work on my pendulum at all. I did a little bit of spinning. Well, that's an off. I'll save that for the off course section. But I did do a little bit of spinning, and I guess I sort of have some future projects in mind, so I'll tell you about that too. Oops.
Forgive the banging.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to spin another, so what I'm spinning right now, it's a 2-ounce braid of merino that I dyed, and then I'm plying it with a 2-ounce like mixed bat, and I had another set like that I was going to spin next, but I kind of want to mix it up a little bit, keep it interesting. So I have this braid of BFL that I'm trying to get that. It's a little bit blue in the camera. Let's see if it'll. Oh well. It's a little warmer than the colors on the camera, but it's. This is BFL, and I want to spin this.
It reminds me a lot of like fall colors.
Yeah, I think I think it's good for fall. I think it's kind of summery too, though. You know, like it's a good multi-season colorway. But it's a gradient, right? So it goes from the purple to the pink to the orange to the green. And I'm gonna fractal spin this, I think.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm. And that's when you divide the braid. Well, you unbraid it, of course, and then you divide the roving in half, and half of it you spin as is. The other half you break up further, so that basically one half of the fiber has a long color transition and the other half of the fiber has shorter color transitions. And then when you ply those together, it
creates a barber pole kind of effect sometimes.
Yeah, barber pole, but also then when you knit it up, it's kind of got an interesting like gradient stripe thing going on almost. I wish I had an example, but you'll see it eventually once it's spun. So there's that. And then I also so I'm kind of waiting a little bit to I've got some baby knitting coming up, obviously, and I'm waiting to do the baby knitting for my baby until I learn the sex, I think. But a friend of mine just found out she's having a girl, so I want to make, I don't think she watches, so Susie, if you're watching, just like
look away.
Fast forward, yeah. But anyway, she just found out she's having a little girl, and I wanted to make her a hand spun. I want to make like a baby ear flap hat.
Oh yeah.
So I have this hand spun that I'm gonna use. It's just a single. It's kind of a thick and thin, like textured, multicolor thing. So yeah. So those are my future projects, and other than that, I don't have anything else to talk about right now. What about you?
So I am currently working on my roller derby socks. I'm halfway tempted to call them my hurricane socks because they look like
they do
a weather map sort of thing going on there. See if you can. They're really super bright. Like they're not showing up as appropriately.
I know. We're gonna have to work on the lighting. We did get a new camera, and we also have a fancy microphone set up here, courtesy of my husband, who is very much into recording music, so he knows all about microphones and sound recording, so
thank you, Colin.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys will be able to enjoy a little bit better video and sound quality.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No. The other thing that I'm working on is a little bit of a big project. It's crochet. I know how to crochet. And it's a baby blanket for the Navy Marine Relief Society. Part of going through the baby budgeting class is you get a hand made baby blanket for your baby, so which has been donated by the community. So this is the baby blanket I've been working on. So it's blue, light blue, green, and I'm working on the light green.
Very cool.
And their wanted dimensions are 3 feet by 3 feet. So
how long has that taken you?
This was in my unfinished object drawer.
Yeah.
So it's been for a little while. But it's been less than 6 months, if that helps any, because that's the last time I donated one was 6 months ago.
Well, before you put it in your like UFO pile, how long?
Oh, probably a couple of weeks, because crochet I have a tendency just to blast through, especially when it's just double crochet like that. And yeah.
Okay, well that's not too bad for a blanket.
And then I have a half-finished object, an HFO?
Yeah, there you go.
HFO. Rather than the UFO, HFO, how do you, okay, this one's a UFO, right? HFO, how do you, like, sound that out? HFO. Hufo? Hufo. Whatever.
Hufo.
Hufo. Now we're just being silly. Anyways, this is Sadie Blue Ruin, Yarnivore podcast. Knitter's Nightmare is her yarn company name, and I do believe this is in Mother of the Universe colorway. I tried for the first time the Fish Lips Kiss Heel.
Ooh.
And I tell you what, when I completed this heel, I felt like so smart and pretty, and it was like magic, and I was the best witch in town.
Oh.
You know, so that's my story. So
it looks very nice.
It fits fantastic.
I have been wanting to try that. I'm kind of boring, and I tend to stick with what I know to some degree, because I know it fits, you know, and I like it, but I want to try that one.
I would say the only thing that I would have changed would be trying the fish lips kiss heel on like a variegant yarn versus the self-striping. Though admittedly, I kind of like how it kind of
I see
did that. So
could you use that? Could you use that for like what I'm doing, where I have a different color heel?
Totally, yeah. This is a paid for pattern. It's only $1 on Ravelry, and she actually it's I think 8 or 9 pages of explanation.
Wow.
So she like goes into detail.
That is in depth. Yeah.
And so there's very little room for error if you follow the directions. If you actually are literate about it. She has something called a twin stitch, and she has a YouTube video on that. So that was super helpful on that.
That's a good deal for $1. Dang.
Well, so that's my story on that one, and then so I have a wee start of the second one.
Yay.
So I have a tendency to sometimes get second sock syndrome, so I immediately cast on, even though it was like 11 o'clock at night. I had to immediately cast on.
Yeah, I get really bad second sock syndrome, so I always knit mine 2 at a time. Because I like it. And I'm boring.
So I don't have any future project plans right now, but I have been cruising the web for, I was thinking of doing the feather shawl. Oh, I'm gonna have to look it up now.
You're not talking about that dream, what is it?
Yeah,
Dreambird?
Yes, Dreambird. There we go.
I've been wanting to do that one for a while.
And I'm like, it's just so pretty.
It is, and I feel like I have to find the perfect yarn for it, though.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what? I bet I have some chroma from Knit Picks. I feel like maybe that would be pretty for the feather part, you know? And then a solid color for the background.
Viking of Norway. Have you ever seen that? It's
I don't think so.
It's also a single ply yarn. It's a little bit on the fuzzy side, is the only thing that I would be like, nah, I don't really want that around my face. But if I have it as like the accent color on the end, I can see that being better than, you know, having the entire thing made out of it.
Is it just 100% wool, or?
Oh, it's a super wash nylon.
Superwash nylon, okay. Cool.
So
do you know what weight of yarn that calls for? Is it a fingering weight?
Yeah, it's fingering weight. A lot of the finished object ones that I saw were using the Fiber Optics paint box gradients. And it's just like little skeins.
I see.
Of like...
So the feathers would be like...
different colors.
Right, and it'd be a gradient of different... That's a cool idea, too.
And then, of course, like, the main body is one solid color.
Right. Yeah, I am very interested in...
There's one in there that I thought was absolutely gorgeous, and it was like a blue and white variegated yarn with bright orange accents on the feathers. Oh. Ooh. I'm like, I was looking for that person's Ravelry post of it to see what the yarn was made out of that. So I'm like, you know.
Some people are just really, really good at, I love looking at
color choice.
Yes, yeah. I love looking at the project photos on Ravelry because, yeah, it can really make a difference. And some people just have a vision, you know. I sometimes do, and sometimes I'm just like, well, these 2 yarns will work. You know, I guess it depends. But I definitely feel like that shawl, you would want to be a little bit more, you know, choosy about the colors you use. So,
definitely. Yeah. So, you said you had some off course?
Yes. honestly, my whole week has been a little bit off course. Like, I've lost my knitting mojo a little bit this week. I'm not really sure why. Well, okay. I got a little distracted, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But
You mean like that distraction?
no, she's pointing at my husband's new drum set that just arrived this week. It's a very beautiful.
It's very shiny.
It's very shiny. It's very pretty.
It's a little bit larger than the last one.
Yeah, it's actually not.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Honestly,
The only thing that's bigger are, so he used to have just one bass drum.
Ah, okay.
And now he
that's
has two, and they're kind of deeper, so they stick out a little bit. But
I gotcha.
yeah, I'm sorry. That's a lot of description about something you can't see, but I'll post a picture on Instagram or something. Anyway, that was not my distraction. So I had a distraction, so that kept me from knitting a little bit, and also, I don't know, some weeks you just don't feel it, you know? You got too much other stuff going on, whatever, or you don't even have a reason. So, I really didn't do a whole lot of knitting other than I worked a little bit on these socks, and, here's sort of my off course. I don't know if you can see this tangled mess, but I got lazy and I decided okay, so first of all, I'm knitting 2 at a time toe-up socks, and then I decided to do a different color toe and heel. So I still have this striped yarn attached, and then I so I have 2 balls of the striped yarn, and then I have the other color attached, and I should have also separated that into 2 balls, but I was lazy, and I was like, oh, I can just do it from
both ends?
I'll pull from the center and the outside. Honestly, it's not as bad as it looks. Once I cut off the green, it'll just untangle, but it is a little bit of a mess right now. And then I had a little bit of a spinning oops. Last week I was talking about how I was almost done with spinning that bat, and then I just had this little chunk of the bat left to spin. Well, I got excited and forgot about that little chunk and just started plying the bat with the braid, and so I'm gonna obviously have less yarn on, or a much shorter single on one bobbin. So I'm gonna have to just finish plying until one of the bobbins runs out, and then spin the rest of the bat, and then ply it again, and I'll have to separate it, but oh well.
That sounds not fun.
It's not that big of a deal. The only thing that bugs me about it is it'll be 2 separate chunks of yarn, you know? Which really isn't that big of a deal. I mean, you have to join yarn all the time anyway, but you know, I didn't mean to do that. That's the main point. So, oops. I got a little bit ahead of myself there. So
my only off course this week was the fact that I left a finished object at home. Completely forgot it.
Oh, you mean like you didn't bring it here?
Yeah.
Oh no. Well,
so we'll have to share it next week.
That just means you'll have one or maybe more.
Yeah, who knows?
Just, yeah, looking at your progress on some of these things.
I'm gonna say this coming week, my immediate boss is on vacation, so something tells me I will have some stress to work out. So
why? Because you're taking over her.
Yeah, so I have to
responsibilities.
Yeah, so I have to, essentially do the work of 2 people.
I see.
Which, is, she left me very set up, so it shouldn't be a problem.
That's good. I just lost where I was on.
And I just had some yarn vomit.
Oh my gosh. On top of it here at Lost Birds.
Okay, so bird's eye view.
Bird's eye view. What did you do this week?
So this week I had my boss's boss come and visit Okinawa. They were here in Okinawa for a grand total of a day and a half and visited all 6 branches. So they were at our branch for maybe like 2 hours. So just enough time to meet the team and that sort of stuff. And I wasn't able to attend knit night on Monday night because I had the privilege of having dinner with them. They're great people. Like, I got to meet our new regional manager, and he just seems like a really big teddy bear. And he used to be a Navy officer and everything like that. So
nice.
He seems really cool. And then my VP who visited, this is kind of her swan song. So this is the last time we will be able to visit with her. And so it was kind of a bittersweet moment. And you can tell she was just having fun. Like, so it was cool. Let's see, for the rest of the week, just kind of dealing with, being home alone and that sort of stuff, and the pets are just going nuts because I am boring comparatively to my husband.
Oh, really? Does he he takes them out more or something?
Oh, yeah, like our dog, Layla, who is a very energetic, less than 1 year old yellow lab, normally gets to at least go once a week with my husband to his work. So they have a fenced-in compound that she can run into when he takes her to work.
And run off energy.
And just run. And she has the shop dog there, is able to play with her. And I try to take her to the dog park after I get home from work, but it seems like it's so hot recently, she can only handle like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we have to go home. Because she will run until she bursts a blood vessel.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe it.
And when Layla was a really young puppy, she ended up getting some sort of infection up in her nose.
Aww.
So she now has some trouble breathing with her sinuses. So when she runs, like, she has to run with her tongue always out. So it's
that must be funny.
And then she starts like snorting. So not only is she like can't breathe, she makes the other dog owners very concerned for her. And on top of that, she has a bit of a Tigger in her, so she jumps on everybody. So I have to tell everybody, I'm so sorry that, she's jumping on you. I can't really control it. I'm sorry. If you're at a dog park, you kind of have to assume that you're going to get kind of nasty.
Yeah.
So that's my public service announcement. If you are at a dog park, please do not wear nice clothes.
I don't know. We always had, like, growing up, we always had, like, terriers. We had Boston Terriers, and we had a Fox Terrier, and those dogs are energetic. And I don't know. I mean, not that we ever really tried to train them, but good luck not having them jump up on you when you get home or whatever. I don't know.
So how was your week?
My week was good. Like I said, I didn't do a whole lot of knitting, but I did get distracted by starting Outlander.
Guilty.
Yes. Danielle kind of like turned me on to that initially, and then So
The Sci-Fi Channel started.
What's that?
Outlander was turned into a TV series from the Sci-Fi Channel.
Is it the Sci-Fi Channel?
I believe so, yeah.
I thought it was like Stars or...
No, you're totally right. It is Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So then there's all the talk about that, and Danielle's been talking about it, and
enabling at its finest.
Yeah. So I keep hearing about it everywhere, and then with the show coming out, obviously it's like you see it online a lot promoted, and Audible, which is an audiobook like subscription through Amazon.com. They do like a daily deal, so they have a daily audiobook that's on sale. And they put the
first Outlander.
Yeah, they put the first Outlander book as a daily deal. So, of course I bought it. And I bought the audiobook and I started listening to it, and then I decided that I wanted to read it instead. I wasn't feeling the audio version, and so I started reading it. And
I like that narrator.
Yeah, she's not a bad narrator or anything. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Though, admittedly, like, I was trolling the internet for images for the new TV series,
Mm-hmm.
and forgive me for saying this, children out of the room, the actor who's playing the main male character is hot. Oh my god.
Well, I think he's supposed to be.
Totally is supposed to be hot, yeah.
I mean, that's the point, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not the point, but it's certainly part of the story.
That's one job description or job that you can be completely and utterly discriminatory towards.
Yeah.
You have to be hot for this.
Yeah.
role.
So, needless to say, the book was very distracting, and I read the whole, and these books are not short.
I think they're like 600 or
700 pages,
yeah.
And they're not short books. And I finished that first book, and I'm like maybe halfway through the second one. So,
did you get them from the library?
What's that?
Did you get them from the library, or did you get them on Kindle?
No, I got them on Kindle. They're only $5 on Kindle.
Oh, then I might have to get some.
I don't know if that's a sale price or if that's just the normal price, but they're $4.99 on Kindle. So, yeah, and I bought the first one, and then after I bought that one, after I read that one, I bought the next two. So, yeah, that's part of the reason I haven't been knitting a whole lot, is because I've been reading. And I know some people can knit and read at the same time, and I can, but I don't know. I just didn't want to. I wanted to focus on my book, so.
One book that I have been reading this week is called, I believe it's called Homeward Bound or something like that. It's a little bit more serious book. It's about the movement of the new domesticity. I think that's how you pronounce that. Becoming more domestic
Mm-hmm.
In our lifestyles versus being more career oriented. Just because we are not seeing a value in becoming career oriented versus seeing value at home.
So it's kind of like a return almost to
the more domestic heavy lifestyle.
I can see that, and it's sort of there's like a trend in homesteading or like urban farming and things like that.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things they mentioned, is it's not just women.
Yeah.
It's older Generation Y and Generation X, men and women as well. So, yeah, I think that's super interesting in the shift in culture and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, very cool.
Anyways, did you have anything else interesting happen this week other than Outlander?
Well, I thought I'd mention that it's Obon this week.
Oh, yeah. Do you say happy Obon?
I don't know. I don't know if
it's
you
like
say anything.
Kind of a ancestral festival.
Yeah, so what it is it's your ancestors and your deceased relatives actually, they return to the Japanese and the Okinawans believe, or the Japanese anyway. They believe that your ancestors and deceased family members return to Earth, basically.
For a week.
Yeah, well, it's not, I don't know if it's even the whole week, but it's at least, it was celebrated for 3 days, so today, yesterday, and the day before. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And, yeah, so there's been a lot of, you know, you see a lot of events going on when you're out and about, and also, something that's interesting that I didn't know before this year's event is that, so a lot of the beaches here were closed, and I found out it's because they actually believe that you're supposed to stay away from the water because your ancestors, or I guess, they'll try and drown you to take you with them, so there's a risk of drowning during
Well, and I also
Obon.
was told this week, I haven't researched the validity behind it, but when the drummers go by to collect the souls again to return them back to their graves, is that you're supposed to keep all of your windows and doors closed, or else the souls would stay in your house with you and kind of chill out until next year.
Interesting.
And I'm like, I would prefer not to have somebody's ancestor in my house, thank you. Probably, like, spying on me. What is this crazy American doing?
Well, luckily we don't really open our doors and windows because it is too hot. Our house is basically cement, so you keep it closed, and that actually keeps it cooler most of the time. So yeah, so Obon happened this week, and actually there's a new family that I met this week. They moved in really close to here. The you know, the Four Seasons where we ate the other day?
Sure,
They're right around the corner from that. So
yeah.
it's like a 2-minute walk from here. Yeah, so they're brand new to Okinawa, and they have a 2-year-old son, which is the same age as my son. So yeah, we got together with them, and actually today we went to the mall together, and
By mall, you mean what?
the main city mall. I don't know. You know?
I don't know. You'll have to show me.
Really?
You're talking about American Village?
No, the mall.
I got nothing, dude.
It's a mall. What do you mean?
I've never been. No.
You haven't been to any malls here?
No.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're gonna have to go then, obviously. Not that I'm a huge, like, shopper or mall person, but, you know, it's, Japanese malls are interesting, and especially if you're new here, going out shopping, not necessarily to buy things, but because you kind of get a sense of the culture a little bit from it. And Japan also, they're kind of a consumer culture, I'm gonna say. You know, shopping is a big deal.
I think that might be an understatement.
Yeah. Weekends, and I mean, I suppose it's the same to some degree in the States. I don't know. It's just a little bit different or more extreme here, I think. So, anyway, it's interesting to go to malls or shopping places and just see what there is, because there are some very interesting things that you come across. And inside malls here, usually, there is a large grocery store. Like, usually malls in Japan are almost, like, they're kind of centered around a grocery store more than...
Oh, just like Aeon, yeah.
Right, right. So anyway, we walked through the grocery store and pointed out things that we've discovered that are good that you might not necessarily know about if you're not from Japan. And so they went to the grocery store on their own the other day, and they said they were confused about things. So we're trying to share our limited knowledge of what we know about the grocery store, because that is a whole other experience.
If that is
on its own. So, yeah. So anyway, so we met new friends. I started Outlander, and it was Obon. Anything else?
No.
That covers it. All right, so we're on to bird calls. Do you have any bird calls this week?
I don't have bird call other than the fiber optics. I think it's Dye Works or just Yarn Company. I am really looking forward to her next shop update. I think I'm going to be stocking that.
Because of the Dreambird cow?
Yeah, because of the
cow. Yeah.
Shawl. It's shawl.
Yeah, it is.
And so I can make my feathers colorful. And
yes.
But so when I was visiting her shop today, when I was stocking that one, a lot of it was sold out. So I'm like, oh.
Sad.
So I'll have to see when the next update is, or if she's only doing shows now or something like that. I have no idea.
I haven't checked recently. I have a shout out to somebody I've done a shout out to before, and that's the Artsy Knitter. And my shout out this week is because she's doing a knit along, and it's a fairy tale themed knit along. So you can find her group on Ravelry where she has more information about it. But she, I have given her a coupon code to share with her viewers who are going to be spinning for the cow. So I guess it's a spin along too. It's spinning or knitting.
Spin along, knit along.
Yeah, or whatever. I think it's kind of a craft along more than anything, because she's also doing like fairy gardens and things like that. So anyway, I shared a coupon code with her group, so I'm going to share the same coupon code with you guys. And that is... it's Artsy Peeps, so ARTSYPEEPS, and that can be entered on the Lost Birds Etsy page, and you can find the link to my store on lostbirdsfiber.com, or on Etsy, I'm Lost Birds. And so you can get 10% off of any fiber purchase until September 1st. In case you were interested.
Very cool.
Yeah, so there you go. Did you get anything in the mail this week?
I did not get anything in the mail this week. However, I have something waiting for me at the post office. So, it arrived Saturday, so it won't actually be, like, there won't be a ticket in my box until probably Tuesday.
Gotcha. That's frustrating.
What do you expect?
I know. So yeah, you get an email letting you know that you've gotten a package, but oftentimes sometimes you get an email. I've also not gotten an email.
I don't normally get an email. I just get I just follow the tracking number. So according to the USPS, it said that it arrived at, my location on, August 9th. And so,
but it takes them a while to sort it all and get it. Yeah, so we have P.O. boxes, so we get a slip in our box saying that we have a package, and then we have to pick it up, so it takes them a while to actually sort it all.
And for me, like, I don't normally get off of work until, like, 5 p.m., and then it takes anywhere between a half hour to 45 minutes to get from my work to my post office. So normally they're closed by the time I actually get there. So I gotta see if I can either, ask work to allow me to just, head out the door about 10 minutes earlier. So we'll see how it actually goes.
Yeah. I got a couple magazines.
Hey!
Yay! So for Christmas, my mom got me a subscription to Real Simple, and I like this magazine. I've seen it in the past, but I've never subscribed to it, and she surprised me with it. I don't even think she knew that I liked this magazine, but she liked it. And so yeah, I've been getting issues since the start of the year. So this is the July issue. And
I didn't realize how thick those ones are.
They're pretty thick, but you know what? It's a lot of ads, as I'm sure is the case in most magazines. So it's a little ad heavy, and that's to be expected, I suppose.
I would say since print media is, basically going out of business slowly.
Yeah.
I accept it.
Although, many magazines have digital subscriptions as well. But I really like just the aesthetics of this magazine, for one thing. I think they do a really good job, and it's kind of my taste. And they also have really good recipes. I really like the recipes that are in Real Simple, because they are simple recipes, and they're often very, like, seasonal and fresh, and that's very cool. And they're not, like, very time-consuming or complicated, because, like, Martha Stewart, she makes beautiful things, but her recipes are always super complicated. Have you ever tried to do Martha Stewart?
Well, like, she had one recipe where you use white asparagus. I'm like, how the hey do you get white asparagus? And then
can I maybe substitute regular asparagus?
Exactly.
Just maybe.
Well, and then, like, I just kind of researched, white asparagus. And apparently you're supposed to go out, grow it on your own, and put a box over it, so it becomes like...
It's like albino asparagus.
Like, so it doesn't, like, ever see the sun. So, like, there's no, like, photosynthesis involved.
That is asparagus abuse, I think.
That's completely, like, neglecting asparagus.
Yeah, so I'm not a Martha Stewart recipe type person. I'm a Real Simple recipe type person. They have shorter ingredient lists, simple ingredients, and
I think that should be our show title. Neglecting asparagus.
Asparagus abuse. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, when I laugh, funny. I squeak, so I hope these microphones are not picking that up. Anyways.
Yeah. The only thing about this magazine, sometimes that gets me is... And they have very practical, tips and information. But sometimes I'm like, really? Real Simple? I don't know. Like, for instance, in this issue, they were talking about... I can't even remember what they were talking about. But part of it was... it was like problems you have in the summer and how to fix them. And one of them was like, okay, you missed a spot when you were putting on sunscreen, and now you have an uneven tan. And how do you fix that? And they say that you should exfoliate twice daily with, is it alpha or I don't know, some hydroxy acid cleanser or exfoliator. And
so not only do you have, like, possibly a sunburn, but you're going to put, like,
something that makes your skin more sensitive to sun. But also, they were like, we suggest this $80 serum, you know?
Of course you do.
Yeah. No. Real simple, no. No. Sorry. So anyway, other than that, I do enjoy this magazine, and I think they have some interesting stuff. And I also got Ply. If you've not heard of this magazine, go check it out. It's JC Boggs magazine, so she puts it together, and they're in their second year.
It's like really?
They're in their second year, yeah.
Wow.
So this is it comes out quarterly, so there are 4 issues a year, and this is issue number 5, Twist, and it's all about spinning. It's and it's very in-depth information, and each issue is all about a certain subject. So let's see.
One issue was specifically about silk, right?
Yes, one issue was all about silk. And, I mean, it goes into lots of details. And this issue is about Twist, so it's specifically about, like, how much twist to put in your yarn. How much twist do you put in singles, depending on how you want your plied yarn to come out. How do you put a different amount of twist in different yarns for specific purposes, you know, when you're knitting, and how it changes the way that your knitting comes out depending on how much twist or the different ways that your yarn is plied. And I mean, in depth, all kinds of things, all about twist, all the twist in your yarn, the thing that makes up your yarn, basically. And so it's very interesting, very informative, and
I love that close-up shot.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, the photos in here are pretty nice. And the nice thing also about this magazine is that she keeps there are advertisements, but she keeps it very minimal. And the advertisements that there are very, I mean, they're kind of exclusive, I would say, and they're very...
But just flipping through it before we started, I think they're non-intrusive.
They're non-intrusive, and they're kind of... a lot of the ads are concentrated in the back as well, so that you're not flipping through and all of a sudden you think you're reading an article and it's actually an ad or something. A lot of magazines like Real Simple does that. So yeah, anyway, check out Ply if you're interested in spinning or interested in improving your spinning specifically, because it is like I don't know, there's just so much information. You can learn a lot. And all of the articles are written by very, very knowledgeable, well-known...
competent people.
Competent, yeah, spinners. So, very interesting magazine. Check it out. And that's all I got in the mail.
Very cool.
Oh, okay, so our last little bit here, Danielle...
Okay, so Miss True of the Archie Knitter said that she just kind of put in a little blurb saying that she wanted a little bit of financial help as a single mom living in Canada. Well, at that point in time, I did not know a whole lot about the financial situation in Canada, so I did some research. Like a week and a half's worth of research.
She's very interested in finance.
I am very interested in finance, and it's what I do for a living. And then on top of that, I am trying to become an accredited financial counselor. So hopefully we'll, pass the tests and all that other good stuff. So So I'm going to go into, best Canadian financial practices that I found. But first I'm going to go for parents in general, for, helping yourself as well as your children. I'm going to go back to the thing that I talked about 2 weeks ago. Life insurance. Get it. If you don't already have it, please make sure it is level term life insurance versus whole and that sort of stuff. It's just a cost-effective entity that's much better than whole life insurance. So because you want to make sure your kids are okay. With that in mind, I would also suggest getting a living revocable trust. It's basically, you controlling your money should anything happen to you. So, God forbid, I'll just use you as an example, Allison. God forbid anything happened to you and Colin. But you'll have, should you get this living revocable trust, you have basically a control on the money that Emrys receives over the course of however long the trust lasts.
Okay, I just have a quick question about that, or a comment, sort of. So the other thing I've heard about having a trust as opposed, or on top of a will, is that a will is not always, will is very, well, sorry, go ahead.
A will is not quick.
Right, it's not quick, and so it has to go through a lot of legal stuff before you can actually distribute the estate or right. What have you. And with a trust, it's like you're putting your assets in your child's name so that it sort of just transfers over. It's already in their name, right?
Yeah,
that's how I understand it.
A living revocable trust, you're able to control all the assets while you're alive, and even terminate it if you need to. But upon your death, it will immediately go to the beneficiary and the guardian of the beneficiary. And normally there's stipulations involved, like how much they can spend per year of the trust, and it should be enough to live on. Then also, if you have a living revocable trust, you avoid probate court as well as probate taxes. So that's another cost that is for somebody else to handle when you're no longer there. So that's, I know it's a kind of a morbid thought that, you're not going to be around for your children, but you need to take care of your children should you not be around. Accidents happen all the time. For your kids, please establish a sense of financial literacy. I have seen parents help out, parents have their kids help out with paying bills. I've seen a mom show the electricity bill to her children from last year and then the month before. If they can, go around and make sure everything's shut off and everything like that, if they can reduce it by 15%, then they get half of that money. The kids do.
It's good motivation.
Yeah. And that way you don't have a huge electricity bill anymore.
Yeah.
But it's share your financial issues with your children. Saying, we don't have money for this. I need to decide which bills to pay. We don't want to stress the kids out, but we just want to have a sense of saving and paying bills. Because even now, I get to deal with people who were born in 1993. So people who are or 1994, just turned 18. And I'm like, I remember that. Anyways, you know, they don't know how to write a check. They don't understand savings. They have no idea in terms of living underneath of your paycheck. A lot of times they'll just blow past their paycheck and continue on to the credit card.
I feel like you see that a lot, like, specifically in your maybe banking experience too, because in the military, oftentimes kids, I mean, really, 18-year-olds, they join right out of high school, and then all of a sudden they're getting a paycheck, like, or a salary.
And they're not normally used to.
Right, and so it seems like a lot of money, you know, that they're maybe not used to having. So you see a lot of, like, they'll immediately go out and buy, like, a brand new car or something that maybe is not the best.
A 56-inch TV to put into a barracks room.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, if you have any idea, a barracks room is not very big at all.
No.
Like, it's the same size as most college dorm rooms. Only adding a bathroom, I do believe. Maybe not, in some cases.
Yeah, maybe not. Anyway, I didn't want to get you off topic.
No. And lastly, for parents in general, take care of your own personal retirement before you fund your child's college fund. I know that might be a little surprising for some people to ask them to fund their own retirement before they take care of their own children. But I think of it this way. If your children, scratch that, try again. If you are not able to pay for your own retirement, and if you end up living beyond, you know, your late 80s, who is going to take care of you once you essentially have no more money in the bank? It's going to be your children. And if they already are trying to pay off their college loans and trying to keep a life of their own together, then it's going to be financially hard on them to take care of you as well. So that's parents in general. Please take care of your own retirement before you fund your child's education fund or college plan. There's a bunch of retirement calculators out there. There's a fantastic one on MSN Money. If you're not 100% sure how much you're supposed to save for your retirement later on. Specifically for Canada, and I'm going to try to kind of weave in American banking standards in there as well. For retirement specifically in Canada, they have something called a tax-free savings account, which is the equivalent of the American Roth IRA. With the tax-free savings account, you can contribute up to $5,500 of after-tax income. Once you're ready to pull money out of this account, you don't have to worry about being taxed again. And on top of that, you won't have to worry about being taxed on your earnings. So like you have interest on an account, or you have like a type of mutual fund that you're putting, or mutual fund type of account that you're putting money into, then you don't have to pay taxes on that. So I highly suggest getting that type of account and try to get the best interest rate that you can. Just in the research that I had done, I found that there's this one kind of banking company called the People's Trust. I'm not sure what it is, what they have in terms of like customer service, but they were able to pull up a rate of 3% for a tax-free savings account. So that's, you know, comparatively for what I'm used to, that's a pretty fantastic rate. Canada also has something called a guaranteed income certificate or term deposits. These things are the same thing, or very close to the same as our certificates of deposit. So essentially you're putting money away for a certain amount of time that you shouldn't touch for that time. If you do touch it, you do incur a penalty. And that way it's just making more interest on your money. So if you have any money to put on the side that you know you're not going to touch for a while, then I highly suggest getting one of those. Again, I found it looks like a decent one from, again, People's Trust. It has a $1,000 minimum and it sits at a 1.3% interest rate for 3 months. Again, I think that's fantastic, because our normal certificate that I've seen for only 3 months sits around a 0.60%. If it's 3 months. I've seen some for 12 months that sits at a 0.90%. And again, I'm going to kind of go into the dangers of having student loan debt. One of the things that is kind of average apparently among Canadians is being, at the time of graduation, they're around $25,000 into debt, which American standards, I'm like, oh, that's not that big of a deal, because I graduated from college with about $36,000 in debt. And however, what the dangerous part is in Canada is the unemployment rate for young people is at 13%, which is kind of a huge deal, because, you know, 1 out of every 13 young people are, you know, either unemployed or underemployed. In Canada, the only way you can get rid of student loan debt is if you are out of school for 7 years, and then it can be discharged through bankruptcy. Though that is completely different from American standards, because you cannot discharge student loan debt through bankruptcy in the United States. So I hope that helps. I'm sorry that was a little long-winded. But if you have any more financial questions, please let me know, and I will try to do some research on it and, you know, get going and that sort of stuff. But I think that is it, unless you have anything to add, madam.
I think that's all for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, bye.